Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. This is the last video of the day, probably. And I thought it's a great one to finish on, because I do like to finish on a high, and this one, I think, will please you. And if it does, do please hit the subscribe button. And even if it doesn't, do please hit the subscribe button. It's very, very important. We're growing the channel. We're nearly at 10,000, but your help is massive because we're political. But this video is all to do with Scotland's most unhappy place. Can you guess where it is? There is one place in Scotland which is the worst place to live if you want to be happy and content and have a good life. And it is an absolute SNP stronghold. And it's somewhere that probably won't surprise you when you find out, but it is still nice to see because of other reasons. So we will have a look at it and we will say, of course it is. And then we'll laugh. Let's have a look at Scotland's most unhappy place to live. Here goes. Dundee was one of those places where I was actually out one night and nearly got pasted simply because of my accent. It was only the fact I was with someone who dived in quickly and said, no, he's not English, stop. And I managed to get away. We went down a different pub and ended up having a very good night. I can't even remember the name of the pub now. It was a few years ago, and I was very drunk. But yeah, we had that, and we do. I've been in Dundee a couple of times now, and it is a fairly odd place. I'm just going to say odd. I'm not going to do any more than that. I just found it an odd place. But that said, I mean, I love the bridge. I love the Tay Bridge. It's the weirdest bridge. You know, you've got this huge, mouth, the estuary and that. And then you have this tiny low bridge. It's the weirdest thing. It deserves a much bigger, grander bridge, I think. But I do love the Tay Bridge, must be honest. Anyway, Scotland, Dundee. No matter how much cake you have, you are going to be miserable. Scotland's unhappiest place is an SNP stronghold. See, your area ranks on the list. And I've got the list of the worst places to live kind of thing. But Dundee comes bottom. Now, if there's any of you regular viewers who live in or around Dundee, let me know in the comments if it's right. Is it really as bad as that? Like I say, I had one unfortunate incident. Other than that, I'm fine. I enjoyed the art gallery and things like that. And, you walk along up there and we looked at the industrial part of it just to see, what was there. There's a big history, of course, of it. And what's his name? McGonagall. You had that plaque to McGonagall, don't you? And I had to explain to my Scottish wife about McGonagall. I told her about McGonagall. Her first one was Hogwarts. No. Anyway, getting into this. Scotland's least happy place to live is an SNP stronghold that's been blighted by poverty and addiction issues over the years. Dundee has proudly been hailed the Yes City by independent activists, but it seems to be voting for the SNP is not likely to bring much joy. Well, that can be applied anywhere you live. Whenever you look anywhere, the SNP have got a stronghold. It's going to be fairly miserable. But I'm not sure if it's the SNP making the place miserable or if it's the miserable places voting for the SNP because they lack the vision to see that there's a better way. Does one belie the other, or is it the other way around? Or is it just correlation? Because correlation does not mean causality. Who knows? Who knows what it is? Anyway, Dundee was one of the first places to back independence in the 2014 referendum and is famously home to the First Minister, Humza Yousaf. He lives in the uptown. Well, we all know. And the thing is, the moment he went in, the house prices went down. I mean, oh my God, he's moved in. Quick, scarp. And they all sold up and got away. They don't want to be anywhere near him. Why isn't he living in Pollock? Why isn't he sitting there going, oh, well, I'm the MSP for Pollock. I'll go and live in Pollock. No, he wouldn't be seen dead in Pollock, would he? Anyway, despite the people of Dundee not being particularly optimistic, the city has seen a revival in recent years. The V&A Design Museum, yes, that's the one I'm on about. You know it. It's really good. If you haven't seen it, go see it. It's really nice. It's been visited by almost 2 million people since it opened in 2018. I'm one of those 2 million people. And so is my wife. And my name is Brian, and so is my wife. But anyway, that's a different thing. Dundee is also home to Captain Scott's RRS Discovery. Yes, it is. I had to think it is. I didn't go on it, but I went past it. I didn't go on it. They wanted a lot of money to go on that, you know. Anyway, it's a vibrant student city, thought to have one of the highest proportion of students anywhere in Europe. Home to the Beano and the Dandy. Dundee also boasts 2 senior football teams in Dundee and Dundee United. I was really surprised. I had no idea how close those two were. They're like literally next door neighbours. If ever you go to Nottingham, you've got Forest and County, and they're literally about 200 yards from each other. You can see one from the other like they're there. Dundee, it's like you could shake hands. Anyway, although the latter is currently in the Championship rather in the top division. Yes, poor Dundee United, never mind. Glasgow is the second least happy city in Scotland. Currently an SNP stronghold. But we shall see come the next election. Maybe when it switches to a Labour city, it may go up in the chart. Who knows? And this is according to the survey, with Fife third. I'm surprised at Fife being third. I am very, very surprised at Fife being that far down. On that said, though, when I go to Fife, tend to do things like the wheel, and you're sort of on the outskirts. It's very nice on the outskirts. I've got a friend who lives in Fife. Actually, technically, she went to school with my sister, and that's how I got to know her. Emma Workman. She lives in Fife, and you know, she seems okay. I never associate Fife with being poverty-stricken or miserable. Who knows? Anyway, again, I don't know. I don't live in them. I visit, but I don't live there, and I suppose it's a whole different ball game, isn't it? Anyway, at the other end of the scale, Shetland was the happiest place in Scotland, which is about as far away as you can get from Humza Yousaf as is physically possible. So possibly that's why. Never ever been to Shetland. To my shame, and I watch it. I watch all the murders on Shetland, and I always think, I want to go there. It looks really nice and that, but it's a bit of a schlep. And 3 times I've attempted to get there, and 3 times I've failed miserably. It's like the lighthouse on Cape Wrath. 3 times I drove all the way up to get there, and 3 times couldn't get on. No, 2 times couldn't get on. Got on the 3rd time. Thank heavens, that is a schlep and all. Anyway, the Western Isles are second most happiest place, and then the Highlands 3rd. Again, not surprising. I love Inverness and around that area. I just love it. If I could go and retire, I would retire up Inverness way. I just think it's just fantastic up there. Can be bleak in the winter, and it can be a bugger to get anywhere in the winter if the snow comes down heavy, but even so, it's just great. And yeah, I can understand why that would be there. Anyway, here we go. From the happiest to the least. Now, I won't go through all of them, but I'll put them up and I'll hold, and you can have a look. But we'll see there at the top. Shetland, number 1. Western Isles, 2. Highland, 3. And then you're moving in. East Renfrewshire, Argyll and Bute. All the way down. Aberdeen, still quite high up, Aberdeenshire. That's fine. Oh, Aberdeenshire is high. Aberdeen itself slightly lower, but just outside the top 10. So we've got that down, and that's down to South Lanarkshire there. You can see that list. And then I'll go from South Lanarkshire, so it's North Ayrshire, Moray, blah, 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 all the way down. And I'm very surprised at some of those where they are. I would have thought some would have been... Moray, really that far down the list? I don't know. Where's Orkneys? Orkney. I get told off for this, you know. Can't call them the Orkneys. Orkney. Anyway, not on the list, is it? Oh, look, this actually says there, no score given for Orkney. Oh, well, there we go. Can't tell you. But I bet it's pretty high up. I don't think it's terrible. So anyway, there you go. Dundee, the worst place to live in Scotland. And it's not surprising when you consider which pair live there. Coming up. I will say, not specifically on the list, but my personals. I've indicated I love Inverness. I do. But I will say, there are a couple of places that I would. And that's things like Ullapool, Oban, Largs. It's funny how they're all on the west coast, isn't it? Well, not that Inverness is, but the others, yeah. But they're nice. Like I say, a bugger to get to, though. But Largs is nice. Largs. First time I went to Largs, I thought, it's like a bloody tropical island. There's palm trees, everything, all these luscious plants. I was very surprised, and it's very nice. And Oban and Ullapool, I just love them. Just think they're great. Anyway, there we go. The Scottish Tourist Board announcement. Hey, go everywhere you like, but don't go to Dundee. But no, seriously, Dundee's great, and go and see that museum. It is fantastic. Anyway, I'll stop there. Thank you very much for watching. As I say, it's the last one. Unless there's something major happens to be the last one, there may be a few flash videos later. That's it. I'm done. I'm going to go and I'm going to have a bottle of red wine. And yes, it's a Tuesday night. It's a school night, but I don't care. I've worked hard today. Thanks very much. Do hit the subscribe button. See you all tomorrow. Bye.